Today, I'm very excited to welcome Dr. Greg White, Ryan Mingus, Jill Nesbitt, and Tom Barberio. When you just look at the industry as a whole, what makes you bullish on the future of dental?
I would say the advent of the technology that's actually coming, right? I'm really happy to see that there's been that paradigm shift where dental technology now has become to the forefront of, hey, this is really a patient enabler and a practice enabler versus a hindrance and a cost. So that's really allowing the innovation to really spark, right? We've seen more advances in AI and automation and things like that coming across in the last, 18 to 24 months, because people really want to use these technologies and use this stuff to be able to enable themselves more. So that keeps me super excited, because it went from okay, IT is just to keep the lights on and run the shop type of a thing, versus, hey, IT now can be a enabler and really be, how do we attract new patients and be able to do more new and exciting things.
What makes you the most bullish about dentistry moving forward? Like, what are some of the things that, you look at this industry, you look at the market, where you say, you know what, these are some tailwinds that are probably going to help us out here in the near term or maybe over the next few years?
So I think COVID, coupled on the tails of COVID, one of the most difficult operating environments in the dentistry has ever seen, from the Great Resignation to, hygienists, with hourly wages, and a new generation of doctor coming to the market to be, associates in the business, and what they're looking for from a work-life balance and the clinical training that they've had. Just really one of the most difficult operating environments on the tails of COVID. It really shined a bright light in a dark place in a lot of these DSO businesses. And the unfortunate truth is some of them will not survive. Some of the DSO 1.0 that came out and didn't structure their deals in such a way that there's a lot of risk sharing post-close. They just might not survive. They might have to be sold for parts. They might be sold back to the doctors in the practices. There's going to be some tough learnings from those businesses, but I do think that the businesses that have been formed and thrived through that 2020 and beyond, and those businesses that have been formed post 2020, are really set up to succeed for the long term. I think they've taken a lot of learnings from that DSO 1.0, 2.0, and are starting to apply it to this model. And I think that, coupled with technology, we're really going to be building sustainable businesses, not just stacking EBITDA.
What are some of the things that still, when you look at this space, they get you excited, where you're still bullish on the industry?
Well, first of all, the one thing that you learn about people over 60 years of living on this planet is that they will pay money to look good. Okay? They will pay money to look good over paying money to feel good a lot of times. And so that's the reason you see dermatology and plastics that are doing well. And you see that all indications are that the dollar spend in dentistry is only going to rise, and it's going to rise significantly, maybe as much as 40 and 50% over the next decade. So people are going to continue to invest in appearance. And while that's not necessarily the primary motivator of a dentist, because we're on the healthcare side and we want people to seek treatment and have treatment provided because they want a healthy mouth, but which also has tremendous impact on the overall body. That's not necessarily the reason that they come to us. And I don't care what the reason is that they come, as long as they come and we can provide them with something that is going to make them healthier. If it's aesthetics that brings them in and we can get them healthy while they're getting the aesthetics, then that's fantastic. So I'm very bullish on the demand side.
You've been in the dental industry for many, many years now. You pull out your crystal ball and think about the next, 12 months or so. What are you most excited for? It could be a new technology. It could be some trend that you're seeing. Just, when you think about the future of dentistry, what gets you excited?
The next 12 months, what we are going to see is so much more automation with revenue cycle. I am really excited about that. My teams are dying on the vine, right? Like they are really struggling, and revenue cycle is ugly. So I'm seeing that people are working really hard to take care of their patients. And then frankly, they're not being paid for it because revenue cycle isn't getting done. RAR in dentistry is unbelievable. Day sales outstanding. Insurance is one animal, and you can get some support for that, but all the patient balances, they're always worse. In every group I work with, 2/3 of the outstanding money over 90 days is always patient-based. It just is. So anyway, all of that to be said, that I am really excited about some of the things that I'm seeing coming through on automation, whether it's the patient balance side, they'll be able to set up automated communication so that I can set it and forget it. Nobody wants to send out statements. If I can just set it and design the program and let it do that, I love that. And then the money will just come in. Secondarily, I'm really excited about a lot of the conversation I'm seeing in the industry. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there, of not just insurance verification, but then building out the coverage table automatically.
What do you see out there, and how did you all make the shift to supporting, modern dental practices with their needs, which oftentimes include cloud software? And how did you have to change your business model a little bit in order to properly support that, where you didn't need to hold folks back in order to still run a successful business?
We typically see in the space that, look, there's a lot of what you would call your kind of basic bread and butter IT MSPs, right? There's a lot, like hundreds and thousands out there. I need my printer fixed. I need my monitor fixed, right? But a lot of IT providers don't understand the dental space. It is quite unique. It's something we actually call dental IT. It takes kind of a unique skill set and understanding and training of those employees to really be able to support a dental practice, and particularly support a dental support organization like a DSO, because they have unique needs. So when we kind of came into the space, we built a different model than saying, hey, we just want to be the guy who goes, plugs in the cable, repairs the computer, sells you the hardware on it, right? Because that becomes an impediment. So we said, we're going to take a different approach and really invest in saying, we're going to make our IT support staff be dental IT support specialists. So what does that actually mean? Hey, they need to be trained in practice management. They need to be trained in digital radiography, because most IT people don't even know where to plug a sensor in an operator, right? Let alone how does it work and what's the intricacies and things like that behind it. So making that shift them is really important.
How do you think about those levers? What's most important to focus on, and really, if there are things that can be done, what the advice would be?
Sure. So we always say you should build your business, whether, so it's built to sell, whether you ever intend to sell it or not. And that's selling to a private practice doctor or selling to a DSO. There are some things that you could do in your business that will benefit you in the near term, because you're the 100% owner of the business, and it's going to drive up what you take home on an annual basis. And when and if you decide to go to sell the business, if you're valuing the business based on EBITDA, it should be to your benefit, because you're going to take a higher EBITDA to market, and the multiple gets applied to that. They say necessity is the mother of all inventions. And I think technology has really, I think there's been a lot of great advancements in technology within the dental profession that folks need to take advantage of as a result of higher wages, higher expenses, and the inflationary environment that they face, in order to just get back to an EBITDA that they had in 2019, nonetheless one that's much higher. So that being leveraging AI from a clinical perspective in your diagnosis and your treatment presentation to get higher case acceptance. I think it's adding new technologies to your business that might be higher margin, leveraging technology that will allow you to do more advanced procedures than you otherwise would have, whether it be implants or orthodontics or what have you.
And what does a great culture mean to you?
So a great culture is how you talk to one another, how you treat one another, how you resolve conflict, but it's also a work ethic and a culture of accountability. Not that somebody has to hold you accountable, but you're the type of person to hold yourself accountable. It is a culture where there is no blame, there is no complaint, and there is no procrastination. That's what I consider an incredible culture where everybody's working together without blame, without complaining, without procrastination, putting forth maximum effort, has clear understanding of what the goals are, treats each with one another with respect, speaks to each other in a respectful way, and you're able to resolve conflict in a way that does not leave any poor residue behind.
Now, when you talk about, look, these two different groups, one of them hates the software, one of them's like, this is the best thing ever. And when I think about the kind of implementation motion, there's so much that a software vendor can do themselves. But what you're doing in many ways is acting like an internal resource for that organization in a way that the software vendor actually can't. So that you're then bridging the gap between kind of the goals and desires of the executive leadership combined with collaboration with the vendors that are looking to implement the software to create a successful outcome. Would that be a kind of a good way of describing kind of the focus of what you're working on?
It's perfect. Like, there are things, because I had this job, I worked for the software vendor, and I know no matter what, at the end of the day, the customer would still look at me and say, well, you're still working for the software vendor, so your opinion might be biased. Your recommendation is likely influenced, all those things, even though I'm like, this is just me. Like, I work with you all the time. And so I found some of that. I also found some of the gaps in that they're only going to let me in so far because I don't work for them, right? So what I'm loving, so a couple of different things that I'm loving about this is, first of all, I can really fill in, and I have a team now, so it's not just me, but we can fill in that gap. And because we are directly working for the group practice or for that DSO, our allegiance and our support and our advocacy is very clear that you are paying us, we are working for you. But the nice partnership back with the software vendor is that I've been in your shoes. I know exactly that we have complete alignment on what we see as successful outcomes. And so I know that your success is my success, is the client's success. And so that's a perfect fit for how I can fit in. And I have the bandwidth and the time and the expertise to fill in where those gaps are.
The Dental Economist Show is brought to you by Planet DDS. To find out more about how cloud-based dental software by Planet DDS helps unleash dentists and their staff to focus on patient care, visit www.planetdds.com. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes by following wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening.